the fact that, there's been so much of young people trending towards more conservative positions. I mean, we've had a million conversations about this. There's a bunch of numbers on this. Why people are surprised at this is utterly baffling to me. Because if you have a culture that it beats people up for having kind of, I wouldn't say heterodox views or sort of, disparate views on certain things. And if you get out of line, they will destroy you, right? I mean, you see this with so much of trans stuff of like people just having a slightly different, like, well, I don't know. A woman, you can't just declare yourself a woman. And just to say that, I knew so many people that would never open their mouths, never open it, not political people at all, at all. And this, at the other end of that, people are exhausted by it. I mean, people feel more open to saying what they really believe now because the culture has shifted. And when the culture has shifted, it allows more people to come out of the closet with really basic ideas. And this is the important thing to say. These are not people coming out of the closet and they're Nick Fuentes. Okay. Yeah. These are people that are coming out of the closet who have 60%, they're on an issue that 60% of Americans agree with them on. 80-20 issues that people were afraid to not be in the 20%. That's wild. That's what a culture has really gotten corrupted when you say like trans people in women's sports. That's an 80-20 issue. 5 years ago, I know nobody that would say that publicly and then look at, I mean, in New York, I'm not saying, in normal world, amongst the idiots that I live. Malcolm Gladwell, you saw that example. You saw what Malcolm Gladwell said. Astonishing. But everyone was surprised by that, but we weren't really, because he's like, yeah, I just didn't want to say that because it was bad for my career and I would have been booed at this place. It's like, yeah, that's why people are trending to the right. And I think that's also why, and this is maybe a controversial position, I think that's also why conservatism is no longer about free market economics.
I think that's totally right. Flesh it out. Go on.
Well, it's a thing that people come to the right.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. It's exactly right. And it's also like a cultural thing. Like, this is crazy that I should, be afraid to say this, that I have to believe this, that, there's this kind of conspiracy of silence on college campuses. It doesn't mean you think that rich people should have lower taxes. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, people used to come to conservatism for different reasons, of course. But a friend of mine who very much agrees with me or used to agree with me on a lot of things, now works in the Trump administration. And we were at dinner. It is a pretty.
Is it Scott Bessent?
Why did you pick him? Let me just ask you that question.
Because he's been saying he's gonna fucking punch people in the face.
Oh, I think that
seems like a guy you'd get along with.
No, I know. Well, like he's the angry gay guy. He's like, you don't think I'm tough? I'll knock you out.
He's like Jack in Dawson's Creek.
Yeah. That's a reference that I know is funny, but I don't know it actually from watching the show, just so you know. But he said to me when we were at dinner, I was arguing with him about tariffs. And these are very fun dinner parties. That he said to me, I said to him, you used to believe this. And then he accused me, and this is amazing. This is exactly what I mean about this stuff. He accused me of zombie Reaganism.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, yeah, probably guilty, actually. That's kind of where I land on these issues. And we started having this, it was a very amiable fight, and I love him to death, and we have great conversations. But I realized, and when we were talking about this, is that, I'm kind of the weird one these days. And the fact that the Republican Party, and it's not the Republican Party, it's conservatism in general, doesn't have one coherent economic message anymore, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think it's good that we have these arguments. I think it's fun. But that is something of so many of these people that have joined the right because of people like Chris Rufo, who's a great recruiter for his own patch. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but it does actually scramble people's brains, particularly as an age breakdown of older people on the right are like, wait, what? What are you talking about? You guys all sound like socialists,
Right, and that poll we were referencing is Gen Z. I don't know if I said that, but that was just Gen Z.
Yeah, you saw the poll that for those of us who still out of habit go to Drudge every day, which is a very confusing experience for me because it's
It is. Yeah.
such a weird kind of.
It's like a fever dream.
It is like, what happened to Matt Drudge? Is he like just became a kind of lefty?
Well, no, but like literally what happened to Matt Drudge?
Well, that's, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
actually, where is Matt Drudge?
yes, there's an interesting podcast from Jamie Weinstein about this, which is pretty interesting. But that is the headline was about young Americans trending towards socialism.
Yeah.
Just as far as like they're like, hey, we're not, and that was people on the right and the left. It was like it was crazy to me. It was pretty interesting.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, I remember I helped pitch a story to Drudge on that 10 years ago. Like that stuff we kind of saw coming, but the vibe shifting right. I'm glad that you brought it to that, because the reason I sort of connected the case of Irina and this polling, it's that it seems to me they're like young men who are just viscerally disgusted, and young men and women don't trust institutions probably at the same rate, but young men are going right because of it and young women are going left because of it. If you are like me, you are definitely looking to support more made in the USA manufacturing this year, which is why I'm excited to talk to you about a warehouse. Whether it's home decor, clothing, or furniture, it's become extremely difficult to find high-quality products that aren't made overseas. A recent Forbes report revealed that annual earnings for small businesses across the U.S. have dropped by over 75% since 2023. Small businesses in this country are struggling to stay afloat, and with the likes of Amazon and Target dominating the market, it's no wonder. That's where a warehouse comes in, your one-stop shop for artisanal home goods made exclusively by small businesses. With hundreds of products to choose from, they're deeply committed to supporting American manufacturers. Their easy-to-navigate online marketplace lets you browse a wide range of independent makers, and you can feel good knowing that your purchase supports real people and small family-run businesses. A warehouse believes that true luxury isn't about fancy labels or big brand names. It's about the dedication, creativity, and care that goes into every product, and I could not agree more. Help a warehouse hit their goal of supporting over 100 small businesses this year. Head to awarehouseshop.com and use code PARTY for 15% off your first order. That's awarehouseshop.com, code PARTY.